so. So if you're outside, come on in and take a seat. We'll let them kind of filter in a little bit. Yeah.
Can you see that we're, wait, hold on.
Oh.
30 seconds and then stop. You got it. And yeah, yellow's 30 seconds. Yes. I believe so, but
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's candidate forum for County Commissioner in District 6. My name is Amy Perna, and I'm the co-president of the League of Women Voters St. Paul. Tonight's forum is hosted in partnership with the Saint Paul Neighborhood Network and the Saint Paul chapter of the NAACP. The League of Women Voters is a over 100-year-old nonpartisan organization. We're devoted to civic engagement and participation. We do not support any candidate or party at any level of government. We believe the success of our city, our county, and our state depends on the values, the knowledge, and the commitment of our elected officials. Thus, it is essential for the public to better understand the views, and opinions of the people running for elected office. It's this understanding that better equips voters with the knowledge to make informed voting decisions. We really appreciate the candidates for both coming tonight, and for all of you, our audience members, thank you so much for being here. With that, I would like to introduce tonight's moderator, Max Sanders. Mr. Sanders is a resident of St. Paul, but he does not live in District 6, so he cannot vote for either candidate tonight. He is a technology sales professional, a musician, and a comedian. Thank you, Max.
thank you, Amy. Good evening, everyone, and first of all, thank you all for making the time to come here tonight. As Amy mentioned, my name is Max Sanders, and I'll be your moderator. Before we begin, I'd like to let you know that we will be accepting questions. Whoa, there we go. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, that's transportation is very important for our East Siders. For me personally, working down. I grew up in Frogtown, and taking the 16 line, it felt oftentimes very unsafe. So we must make sure that, one, our buses are equipped with safety procedures, and make sure that the frequency the buses come more frequently, and also that there's better partnership and coordination with our local governments, like our schools. I just spoke with a neighbor over here who was talking about how when the school is recessed, there's just so many students, and that they are really concerned about the safety of the students riding the buses. So that is my plan as county commissioner, partnering with all our local governments, making sure that we have better frequency, safety, and making sure that people can actually use our transit system.
Thank you, Mai Chong. We're going to stick with you for this next question. Please describe how you would work with people who you do not agree with in order to accomplish your goals.
Oh, yes. So for example, rent stabilization. So that, I have supporters on my campaign who have supported both rent stabilization and those who have not. And I supported that. But really the bottom line is that we need stability in our community. And that is what we all believe in. And the belief is that we also need to build more affordable housing. And to do that, we must make changes to our policy. And that is what happened. And so as county commissioner, I would bring in parties together to talk through those issues so that there's common language, common ground understanding to make policy changes and recommendations.
Thank you, Ying. Same question.
Just lost my
We need some audio on Ying's microphone.
lost my audio.
Oh, wait. Try again.
Okay. In my past work experience, I've had to work with a lot of teams, and I'm a team player, and I believe in listening to everyone. Being on the board, I'm going to be working with 7 commissioners, and that's going to be part of what I will be doing is communicating with these commissioners, voicing my concern, and I'm not afraid to put in, what I would like to have done. And I'm going to be the voice for the East Side, and I'm going to make sure that every decisions that we make at the board will benefit our East Side.
Thank you, Ying. We're going to stick with you for the next question. Please describe an ethical dilemma you have faced. How did you resolve it?
I work in the financial industry, so I value rules and regulations. I will not do anything that's unethical. I will, look at the rules and see what I can do and follow them to the way that they're supposed to be. Because I don't believe in twisting the rule to make something better. I believe in finding solutions to, to problems and issues. And that's one thing that I've been really good at in my jobs is I'm a problem solver, and I will find solutions and problems to, to resolve the solutions or the issues that are at hand without violating any ethical issue, ethical codes or.
Thank you, Mai Chong.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that in terms of my analysis that I would bring in. I deeply believe in a world in which we are all included, regardless of race, class, gender, or age, that we all have equal access and opportunity. And so when I'm faced with that, I center on my values about my fight for social justice, racial equity, and economic justice. And I layer that onto the lens about who has power in this in my decision making. And I will always center the working class people, and I will not become a part of the status quo. So I will make sure that every day am I fighting the powers that keep all of us down, poverty, corporate exploitation of working class people. So that's what I will always use to center me in making decisions.
Thank you, Mai Chong. We're going to stick with you for the next question. Please describe your experience managing budgets.
Yes, so I have been working in the City Hall for the last 8 years, public financing, and all the tools and the different streams of incomes that come along with it. What I have to do as a policy aide is I have to make sure that the budget actually reflects our values, and that we are actually making sure that we accomplish what we want to see. Many times we have all these broad policies, but it does not get funded, and people feel hurt and impacted. For example, minimum wage, earn sick and save time, tenant protections. Those are all policies that have been passed but need funding and support for it. So those are the examples that I have, the experience that I have in making sure that we are actually abiding by the ordinances, rules, and the regulations that have been passed.
Ying, same question.
In my experience in accounting, I manage budget for a large corporation with over $50 billion in budget. And my role is to make sure that all the expenses that are going through are reasonable. There's explanations for why things are charged the way they are, and we do look for solutions on how to reduce expense because that reduces the bottom line, and that means for the county, it's going to be more money for us to spend. And it's keeping a good look on what's happening in the district because, looking at the budget, you can look to see what expenditures are coming and why is the expenditure so high in certain part of the season. So those are things, within the budget. And so I have over 20 years experience working with budget in management role, and that's one of my biggest thing. I report directly to the board of director for these, for this company, and I have to write a 5-page report on expenses every quarter.
Thank you. Ying, we're going to stick with you for the next question. So one of the goals of Ramsey County established by commissioners is to cultivate economic prosperity and invest in neighborhoods with concentrated financial poverty. If elected, how would you work to cultivate economic prosperity in District 6?
And it goes back to the questions of the budget because the county is made up of $870 million budget. And one of my biggest goal is economic development, and it's looking to see, looking at the financial statements, meeting with the management in the county, meeting with different sector of the county to see how and what we can save and how what we can streamline, and seeing what else needs to be done to make the county better. Because my first role as county commissioner is going to be really take a deep look at the financials of the county.
Mai Chong, same question.
This is a great question. So I've been talking about equal access to opportunities. And on the east side, we are super young, super diverse, but half the households make less than $50,000 a year. That is hard to even think outside of your 9-to-5 job or your second or third job that you have to keep your families afloat. So what we need is investment. We need access to capital. We need to make sure that there are resources diverted to this district. And that means that we have to make sure that our plans reflect that and that it's actually coming to concentrated areas of poverty. But like what I like to call it is areas of investment, of opportunities, and that is us. That's the east side. So we need workforce development, and we need to remove those barriers so that people can gain better jobs and access to skills. In addition to that, access to the jobs.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you do want to ask questions, please raise your hand. Leslie will come by with an index card, and she will pick them up when you're done. Mai Chong, we're going to stick with you for this next question. So if elected, what would you do to create more transparency between the county government and the public?
That's a really good question, too, because we haven't had a new county commissioner for the last 20 years. And since then, the east side has changed so much. Like I mentioned, 60% of us are under the age of 35. We're super diverse, many multiple languages spoken at home. And so we need to make sure that, one, the materials that we have are translated, and we need to make sure that the communications that we send out are available in the newer technology, right? Text messaging, through emails, and not just rely on snail mail, because things can just change so rapidly. So we must make sure that there is connection to technology in that way.
Ying, same question for you.
As your county commissioner, I will create an open office policy, and you will see me very active in the community. I've been door knocking, doing a lot of meet and greet, and I hear loud and clear that residents want the county to be more transparent and available to their needs because you are selecting me to be your county commissioner. So I need to know what it is that you need so that I can go back to the county and make sure that your needs are met. And that's one of the most important part of being a county commissioner is that, it's your vote. So you need to decide who do you want to represent you on the county board.
We're going to stick with you for this next question, Ying. How would you ensure that county residents have an opportunity to be heard at county board and committee meetings and other advisory meetings?
Back to the same thing, because I am going to have an open office policy, and my residents in the Ramsey County will know that I am accessible to them any hour of the day, because I'm going to be building a forum so that I can be posting information about what's happening in the county, what's happening in their district, what's happening, where they live. And if they have questions, they're able to, write their questions on the forum or just come to the office. Guys, I know nobody wants to go to downtown, but I will be out in the community once a month, twice a month, as needed for my residents to be connecting with me and asking questions so that I could go back and represent them well.
Ying, we're going to stick with you for this next question.
I didn't get a chance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, my turn.
Yes. And then can you repeat the question again, too?
I can do that. What would you do to ensure that county residents have an opportunity to be heard at both county board and committee meetings and other advisory meetings?
Yeah, that's a really great question because we have so many committee boards, in addition to that, different commissions and boards and advisories that people can have an opportunity to serve on. And so I will be looking to you all to do that, to serve on it, to provide input on a lot of the decision-making that happens. And then it also, what I've been talking about, the campaign trail, is also about co-governing. And this is the vision that I had painted when I first started running and being very intentional in getting our East Side elected leaders to endorse my campaign. And that's why I didn't look to Minneapolis or anything like that, right? I looked to our East Side leaders and asked for them to endorse my campaign because my vision is that we continue to campaign. After Election Day, we will continue to door knock, that we will collectively host town halls so that our East Side members know exactly what our East Side leaders are doing so that we have town halls together, we can troubleshoot, we can hear the stories at the doors and continue to incorporate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ying, we're going to ask you this next question. My family lives right off of White Bear Avenue. We like to get around our neighborhood by walking and biking, but White Bear's traffic makes that extremely dangerous. Would you support restripping White Bear similar to Maryland, at least in residential areas? If not, what measures do you support to increase pedestrian and bicyclist safety in our area?
Yes, I would support the I would support the restripping White Bear to be similar to Maryland. Because I believe, in this society, this world, it's a really good way for us to stay healthy and to going around in the community. We've relied too much on cars, and it's got a bad impact on our, our health. And that's one thing that I want to be able to do is to, create programs so that our residents here on the east side will have accessibility to use bike lane, because I've been on bike, lane around Johnson Parkway, and it's been a really pleasure to bike around the city and have a healthy way of looking at our city.
Thank you, Mai Chang. Same question.
Yeah. I would definitely be supportive of making sure that White Bear is accessible to all transit users. For example, on Rice Street, in my role as a policy aide, we worked with Commissioner Mattis Casillo's office, the council president's office, and Councilmember Tao to make sure that Rice Street is actually safer and that it doesn't have the fatality crashes as it does. It is one of the most dangerous roads in our state. And so what we did was we brought community members together, and the North End is super diverse too, so there are multiple languages there. We had multiple community engagement sessions, brought in the businesses, the neighbors who lived there, door knocked, and made sure that they were a part of that process and that input. So before I make any big changes, I would do